Happy Friday, my friend. It's Pat Sloan here, and I have a couple of things going on. First is our Basket and Blooms. Ta-da! Here is my top. Look how sweet this is. Got the green border on last night, and this is the size. This is it. I'm not going to do it any bigger. I had visions of maybe I'd make it a bit bigger, but no, this is a great size. I can hang it up somewhere in my home and enjoy it. So the next thing will be for me to get this basted. And then I will free motion quilt it. So when I free motion quilt it, for those of you who will zoom ahead, I'll have it on another video too. You know, I'll actually do it, maybe one of the ones this coming week before Friday. It'd be nice to have it done by Friday. I'm not promising anything on that, but maybe in the next 2 Fridays. So when I'm going to free motion quilt this, I'm going to pretend this is like applique and treat it like I would applique. So that means I will come along everything that looks like a flower, you know, come along the edges and straight stitch with my free motion. You could do it with your walking foot and straight stitch all of that all around it. So that gives the some pop through the batting, you know, with the 3 layers to those shapes. Then I will probably, and it'll be around the basket too. The basket itself, I'll probably just do something like this, go across. In the background, I will do some sort of small swirly pattern, just something tight so that it presses that down so that this part lifts up. The leaves, I might do one line like this. The flowers, maybe I'll just come do a little center thing, or maybe I'll come in here and just from the center and just do a line out like this to the corners. Then out, I will do straight stitch along this inner and then along the outside of this small inner border, and then I might just go like right down the middle of it, or I might do a little wave. I could do a wave down the middle of it. The scallops, I might just leave them unquilted and just go in the background straight back, you know, do along the white, straight, do along the white, and then just some sort of small wave or, you know, loops in the border, which isn't very big. So that is how I will approach that guy. So the other thing that I did was get the rest of the blue quilt done. So it is all, got all the borders on it. So now I need to get outside and take a picture of it. Here, I'll try to hold it up. But it's got all, this is as big as it's gonna be. It's a nice size. This is a big size. I love it so much. I may have to keep it. I don't know, I can't, you know, I can't keep everything, but I'll keep it for a while and enjoy it. The other thing I did last night was a few more of the red, white, and blues. So those are done, and I worked on, got the pumpkin star points all finished. So all the star points are finished, and now I'm working on the star. Okay, that brings us to ta-da, ta-da, the old school blocks, where my wall is finally empty for me to put the blocks up, and I am so in love with this. This is so much fun. If you're not familiar with the old school block of the month, it started in January. My friend Kim Lapacek of Persimmon Dreams asked a group of us, 12 total, if we would each do a block a month and share you know, how we did it, how we did the block, and use a different, you know, technique that we love or a technique new to us, whatever it is. They all have some different techniques to them. So I love it. I'm pretty much going to do churn dashes, I think, all around the outside as well. There'll be, you know, a 3x4 setting. So let me show you how I decided on the fabrics for my block for August, which is the block from Lee Monroe of May Chapel Pattern Company. I think May Chapel is her grandmother's name. So let's take a look at that. With the fabrics already used in the blocks so far, so there's 7 blocks. I'm not worried about the colors in the little churn dash ones, but with the colorations that you saw, which I showed you on the wall, now I need to decide what fabrics do I want to put in Lee's block. So let's look at what I have, because this started as a bundle of a layer cake from a line that had a lot of repeats in the layer cake because it was a small line, and then I bought a few extra fabrics. So that means I'm working with a certain group of things, and I love the way Lee's gave a design It's just two fabrics, and how when it's like a turn dash with a square and a square in the middle, but because the fabrics are the same, it gives this whole different look to the block. And I want to do the same thing. I want to do the same thing with my block. So I went to see, what do I have for backgrounds? And I don't want the peach. Here's the peach. I don't want the peach. I have 3 of them with a lot of peach right now, so I'm good with that. I don't need the peach. So I looked at what I had that would be enough. So you can see these are layer cake pieces. So I have 2 of these tan. I have 2 of the white, and then I had 1 left of the rose with the moss, and that is a bigger piece. I also had a bigger piece of that, so I can use that more often. Now the other thing is what will be the second fabric. So I wanted one of the prints. I want to mimic what Lee did, which is using 2 prints. And I don't want them to mush together. That'll be my other goal. So I have a bigger chunk of this. I'm just got the smaller one out, but there it is. There it is down there. I have a bigger chunk of that. And then I have this, which I bought for either backing or some border and backing. So I had got a nice big piece of that. And a little bit left from the layer cake. This is all, that's all I have from the layer cake. So let's see. Let's use this big floral first. If I put the big floral, we'll just do next to each other. So there would be how they would blend, you know, next to each other, which gives a really similar look to hers. You know, they're both sort of the same amount of pattern and same size of pattern. Or I could go with this sort of iCat, how you pronounce that, this little print in here. Now that's really creamy, the pretty bright, and I have used these brights in the other blocks. And then you have the tan. Now this is one that I have not used anything quite like this. It's sort of the only piece in the line. There's 2 pieces I think that have more of this tan in it. And they do blend across each other very much. These 2 had super high contrast, right, against that one. So the other would be the smaller print. We'll go back to the butterfly again. So the smaller print floral against the butterfly. You have 2 different scales. This is a little bigger scale than that. I really like that combination. You can see the design. It'll really pop off. Same with this one. It'll really pop off nicely. And then here, it's fine. It works, and it also pops off. So they're a little bit closer in color than the other 2. So what do I do? What do I do? So let me tell you, I'm going to eliminate, and that's how I'll get to what I want. I'm going to eliminate this background because there is really no other huge piece of this light color in the blocks. So if I put this in, it is going to really jump out because light comes towards you. So it is really going to jump out at you. And I'm just going to reserve this for some smaller pieces, or maybe it won't even get used. Okay, the other one I'm going to eliminate is the tan one, because I feel like it is a little more, it brings the block down in color a little bit more than I want. I want something a little bit more uplifting. Okay, so that means that the light in the block, which will be the background portion of Lee's block, will be this one. And I have decided to use the small print. So this combo is what I'm going to do. I want to show you how I cut these bigger squares, because I am using a 12.5-inch square ruler, and I want to be as frugal as possible. So I did the dark square already. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the lighter one. Let's cut it together. I am not really going to fussy cut this because we are going to do the method where we're making 8 of these at a time that Lee has in her pattern, and this pattern is kind of all over, and so I don't want to deal with trying to fussy cut the moss. But you could try to cut them and, you know, put them in special places, but that's like another video. Okay, so we need an 8.5-inch square. Let me verify that. Yep. No, sorry, 8.25 inch square. So I will take, and I'm not going to cut all the way across like this. I prefer to do it more frugally. I could cut from this side, and then that's kind of the side I've chopped up already, or I could cut on this long side. So what I tend to do is go on this side. And the reason why I go on the side that already has some out of it is because there's already work of reducing the fabric on that side. If I want a long strip, I don't want two sides of it chopped up. So I can either go right next to this, which goes into this area, or I can come above it, above this already cut out area where I took some pieces. So I'm going to go above it, which means if I want 8 1/4, and I'm going to do a little bit oversized this way, so then I'll trim it afterwards. So I've got 8 1/4 wide, and I am just starting right in the middle. I'm not trying to go back down here, you know, at this edge. I'm just starting right here in the middle of the fabric, but it's at the edge of the ruler, and cutting over, so that when I come here, now I have that part of the space cut away, it's exposed. So I can rotate the fabric, and I'm going to trim to 8 1/4 here. So I already know that I'm 8 1/4 this way. That's what I just cut, and I'll do the other side. And when I do this, I now have the square that I need, and on this side of my fabric, just put him over there, I want to show you what the fabric looks like. So I have, let me just hold it up here. What I'm trying to do is save one side so that I don't have both sides being chopped up. So now I have this side saved. I probably will trim off this because I don't need that. And then I'll just leave this part for now. You know, I'll just leave it like this, and I won't trim anything else away because I want to see what's going to happen. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use. I did go ahead and draw the lines that I was going to sew across with the iron away marker, just because this is a long length and I wanted to be sure I was getting on both sides of it. Now I'm sure it's going to be hard for you to see the stitching, so I'll get it up there. So hopefully you can see a little bit. So I've done just like Lee's pattern, following exactly the same. And if you have my triangle book, I have photo step outs of how to do this, so you can look in the triangle book. But I got out my trusted OLFA rotating mat, well loved and well used. And now I am going to cut down the middle of the stitching on one side, and then rotate the mat and cut down the middle of the stitching on the other side. And then in order to get 8 units, I'm going to cut down the middle on the edges where there's no line. So you're just going to basically go into that point, keep the ruler straight across the top, and then cut. And because I'm using the rotating mat, I'm not picking anything up, and I have straight across the top. We're going to then trim these or square these up afterwards. So here we go. Here is one of our 8 half square triangle units. I'll press that and then square it up. And here it is. Here's my block. I love how it turned out. It gives the same feel as Lee's block, which I really like. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give that same feel. I'm working all these blocks so that I can enjoy my fellow friends, my fellow designer friends, their methods. So I am going to go ahead and put this, I'll just put that one there so we can see them. Put that down so you can see them all together. There they are. Ah, that looks good. That looks really good. Most likely I'm going to do something in here with the peach. All right, my friend, it's a busy day. It's a Friday. So be sure that you finish up your Basket of Blooms and make your old school block. I love you. Mwah. See you online.